The digital landscape is currently gripped by a silent, suffocating phenomenon known as the AI tax. Every single month, a new generation of creators, students, and entrepreneurs watches their bank accounts bleed out through a dozen different incisions. $20 for a chatbot, $30 for an image generator, another $15 for a coding assistant. The costs mount until the dream of building something unique feels like an expensive luxury reserved only for the elite. We are living in a period of intense paywall fatigue where the tools that were supposed to democratize creativity have instead become the new gatekeepers. These corporate entities have built high walls around their intelligence, demanding a recurring toll for every prompt and every pixel. It is an exhausting cycle that leaves the average person feeling like a perpetual tenant in a digital world they should be colonizing. But while most are busy paying these taxes and fighting for scraps, a massive silent empire is being unveiled right beneath their feet. This is the Great Reset, a moment where the hierarchy of power is shifting back toward the individual. Deep within the architecture of the internet, a decentralized empire of 9 powerful tools has been hidden in plain sight. This isn't just a collection of websites, it is the Google AI ecosystem. Most people think they know Google, but they only see the surface. The search bar, the maps, the cluttered inbox. Beneath that familiar interface lies a sprawling, neon blue neural network of raw, unbridled, and pure computational power. It is a digital brain that most have been given the keys to for free, yet few have bothered to unlock the door. Imagine a laboratory where the walls are lined with the most advanced processors on the planet, where data flows like liquid light through miles of submerged fiber optics. This is not just a tool set, it is a workshop for the modern architect. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The transition we are witnessing is visceral. Picture the before era, a creator hunched over a laptop, frustrated by lobotomized chatbots that forget the context of a conversation within minutes, or staring at a credit card statement that tallies up to hundreds of dollars in monthly subscriptions. Now, shift that vision to the now. Imagine a world where that same creator operates with zero overhead, accessing models that can process millions of pieces of information simultaneously without breaking a sweat. The stakes of this shift are absolute. We are approaching a canyon in human history. On one side are those who remain tethered to the old ways, paying for restricted access and becoming obsolete as their skills are outpaced by those with better tools. On the other side are the architects, those who have realized that the master keys are already in their hands. This isn't about just using AI, it's about mastering a new way of living and building. While the general public plays with simple chatbots that offer polite, filtered answers, the real players are tapping into something much more dangerous and powerful. They are moving beyond the surface level interfaces to access the raw, uncut intelligence that powers the modern world. The gap between the user and the creator is widening, and the time to choose a side is running out. If you don't learn to navigate this ecosystem now, you aren't just falling behind, you are effectively erasing yourself from the future of work. But for those brave enough to step into the command center, the rewards are limitless. It starts with stepping away from the shiny, marketed toys of the gatekeepers and entering a professional space that most don't even know exists. It begins with a tool that offers the kind of power usually reserved for high-level engineers, a platform that serves as the foundation for everything that follows. This is the entry point into the perfect loop of productivity, and it all starts with a gateway known as AI Studio. The atmosphere of this digital empire is one of immense, quiet energy. Picture a dark, atmospheric room where the only light comes from the rhythmic pulsing of server racks, shifting from a deep shadow into a glowing, vibrant blue as the neural networks activate. This is just the beginning. The creator steps deeper into the digital shadows, their eyes reflecting the cool blue luminescence of the screen. This is the command center, known officially as Google AI Studio. To the uninitiated, it looks like a sparse technical playground, but to the architect, it is the most potent weapon in the digital arsenal. It is the direct pipeline to Gemini 1, 5 Pro, the raw and unbridled core of the entire existing ecosystem. Unlike the consumer-facing Gemini, which feels restricted by corporate guidelines, AI Studio is something entirely different. It is the engine room, where the heat of raw computation is felt in every line of code and every generated response. This is the secret the gatekeepers don't want you to know. The most powerful version of the AI isn't the one they're trying to sell you for $20 a month. It's right here, hidden behind a developer's interface, waiting for those brave individuals with the vision to use it. The magic begins with the system instructions. In the world of standard chatbots, you are often a victim of the AI's default personality, a helpful, slightly generic assistant that tries tries to please everyone. In AI Studio, that dynamic is flipped. You are the one who defines the machine's consciousness for the duration of your work. You can instruct it to act as a cynical editor who catches every narrative flaw, or a world-class software architect who prioritizes efficiency over all else. These aren't just prompts, they are the fundamental rules of engagement. When you set these instructions, you aren't just asking for help, you are creating a specialized extension of your own mind. It is a moment of pure empowerment where the user finally starts becoming an architect. But the true gravity of this tool lies in its capacity to remember. The long context window is the crown jewel of the Google AI ecosystem, and in AI Studio, it expands to a staggering 1 million tokens. To understand the scale of this, you have to move past the idea of simple messages. Most AI models operate with a short-term memory that starts to fray after a few thousand words. They begin to hallucinate, losing track of characters or logic. They are like a brilliant scientist with a 10-second memory. AI Studio, however, is the infinite library. It is a librarian who recalls every single page of a 1,000-page text instantly. The creator experiences this power firsthand by uploading an entire code base, thousands of lines of logic spread across dozens of files. In any other environment, this would be a fragmented mess. But here, the AI holds the entire structure in its digital mind simultaneously. You can ask it to find a single elusive bug that has been haunting the project for weeks. And it doesn't just guess, it traces the logic through the entire system with the cold precision of a laser. This is where the paywall fatigue of the past feels like a distant nightmare. While others are struggling to fit their ideas into the small restricted windows of paid tools, the architect is pouring entire worlds into the studio and watching as the machine digests them in seconds. There is a sense of betrayal that comes with this realization. The creator looks back at the years spent paying AI taxes for tools that were effectively lobotomized, limited versions of technology designed to keep the user dependent. AI Studio feels like a rebellion against that dependency. It is raw, uncut, and free, offering industrial-grade utility that once cost thousands of dollars in server fees. The creator is no longer fighting the tools. They are finally wielding them as they were always meant to be used, having direct access to the source. Yet, even with this infinite library and the perfect librarian, the sheer volume of information can be its own kind of prison. Having a photographic memory is only the beginning of the journey. The creator looks at the mountains of data they've just processed and realizes that research and synthesis are two different battles. They have the brain, but they now need a way to distill the chaos of their own internal knowledge into a golden thread of insight. The raw power of the command center has provided the foundation, but the journey into the heart of their own knowledge requires a different kind of guide. Research is one thing, but building the future requires a workshop where data becomes narrative. The transition from the raw, neon-soaked intensity of AI Studio into the quiet, structured halls of the infinite library marks a profound shift in the creator's journey. If AI Studio was the engine, NotebookLM is the navigator. The creator stands amidst a digital architecture that feels less like a server room and more like a sanctuary of pure thought. This is where the librarian resides, a persona of staggering intellectual depth. A PhD-level researcher whose sole purpose is to master the specific universe of information the creator provides. In this space, the AI tax paid to the gatekeepers feels even more like a swindle, for the librarian offers something those generic chatbots never could: absolute, unshakable fidelity to the truth of one's own data. For too long, the creator has been a victim of information fragmentation. Their hard drives and cloud folders are graveyards of unread research, scattered ideas, and half-formed strategies. It is the weight of data chaos, a modern exhaustion where the more we know, the less we understand. Every project the creator attempted was haunted by the fear of missing a crucial detail buried in a 300-page document or a forgotten voice memo. But as they step into the presence of the librarian, that weight begins to lift. NotebookLM does not look at the internet, it looks at you. It is a personalized AI that draws its boundaries around the sources provided, creating a closed loop of intelligence where hallucinations are physically impossible because the AI is grounded in the creator's own words. The creator uploads a decade's worth of messy notes and industry reports. In any other era, synthesizing this volume would take weeks of grueling labor, but the librarian doesn't just read, it understands relationships. It begins to map the hidden connections between a note taken years ago and a data point from yesterday. The creator watches as the librarian generates a comprehensive guide, complete with citations that link directly to the original source. There is no guessing here, no confident lies typical of lesser models. When the librarian speaks, it points to the evidence. Then, the creator discovers the most transformative feature of this sanctuary, the audio overview. With a single click, the librarian takes hundreds of pages of dry, dense text and transforms them into a lively two-person conversational podcast. The creator puts on headphones and hears two voices, intelligent, curious, and articulate, discussing the nuances of their own work. It is a surreal and deeply emotional experience. For the first time, the creator is not alone with their ideas. They are hearing them reflected back with a level of insight that usually requires a team of high-level consultants. They hear the voices identify the golden thread, the central, most important theme that ties their chaotic projects together. It is the moment of clarity that has been eluding them for years. The emotional arc of this discovery is one of profound relief. The entrepreneur who felt overwhelmed by market research suddenly sees the path to their first product. The student who was drowning in thesis materials finally finds the core argument that will define their career. The librarian doesn't just provide answers, it provides the clarity necessary to ask better questions. The creator realizes that this tool is effectively a team of researchers working 24 hours a day for the cost of absolutely nothing. The gatekeepers would charge a fortune for such personalized attention. Yet here it is, an integral part of the ecosystem. The library is not just a place to store things, it is a place where ideas are refined and forged into something new. The creator can feel the shift within, the transition from being a passive consumer of information to a master architect of knowledge. The fog of data fatigue has vanished, replaced by a crystalline vision of what needs to be built next. The librarian has organized the past and clarified the present, but the physical world still requires action. Information is a map, but a map is not a journey. The creator looks around the quiet halls one last time, feeling the immense power of a mind that finally knows exactly what it possesses. The research phase is complete. The golden thread is firmly in hand, glowing with the potential of a vision ready to be manifested. But to turn a vision into a reality, one needs more than a library. They need a workshop. They need the tools of the builder, the digital equivalent of steel and steam. Research is the foundation, but building the future requires a cloud-based factory where lines of logic turn into living applications. The journey moves now from the silence of thought to the rhythmic pulse of creation. Leaving the infinite library, the creator feels the weight of knowledge transformed into the urgency of action. The golden thread is no longer a concept, it is a blueprint. They step out of the silence and into a space that vibrates with a different frequency, the low hum of a cloud-based factory. This is the realm of the architect where Project IDX awaits. For years, the gatekeepers convinced the creator that building software was a dark art reserved for those with expensive degrees and high-end hardware. They were told they needed complex local environments and a lifetime of syntax memorization. But as the creator opens Project IDX in a simple browser tab, that lie dissolves. Project IDX is not just a code editor, it is a workspace born from the cloud, powered by the very essence of the ecosystem. It feels like stepping into a high-tech workshop where the tools fly into your hand before you even reach for them. The creator, who once felt paralyzed by the daunting hello world of traditional development, now sees a path forward. Here, the friction of the before era is gone. There are no hours wasted on setting up dependencies or fighting with terminal errors that make no sense. The environment is pre-configured and ready for the vision. The creator realizes that the barrier between having an idea and having a product has been reduced to a single click. The magic moment happens almost instantly. The creator begins to type a single line of logic, a tentative thought about how the application should behave. Before the sentence is even finished, the AI within the workspace, the architect's silent partner, suggests the next 50 lines. It isn't just mindless autocomplete, it is contextual intelligence. The AI understands the golden thread. It knows what the creator is trying to achieve because it shares the same digital DNA as the librarian. It suggests complex database structures and efficient functions that would have taken a human team days to perfect. The creator is no longer just a writer of code. They are a conductor of logic, but a skeleton of code is not enough. To truly compete with the gatekeepers, the application needs a soul. It needs intelligence of its own. This is where the creator discovers Firebase Gen AI. If Project IDX is the factory floor, Firebase Gen AI is the power grid. It allows the creator to weave AI directly into the fabric of their creation. They aren't just building a static app, they are building a living entity that can talk to users, analyze data in real time, and evolve. This is the tech founder transformation. The creator realizes that they don't need a venture capital seed round or a team of 20 engineers. They only need their vision and these two tools. The pace accelerates. The creator stops being a student of tutorials and starts being a generator of solutions. Every time a problem arises, the architect persona suggests a fix. The AI tax that used to go toward expensive development subscriptions is now a relic of the past. Why pay for a middleman when you have direct access to the forge? The creator watches as their idea takes physical shape on the screen. A functional prototype born from nothing but thought and a few hours of collaborative building with the machine. In the before era, a mistake meant hours of debugging. Now, a mistake is simply a prompt for a better version. This is the redemption arc of technology. The creator reflects on how many brilliant ideas died in the canyon between thought and execution because the tools were too expensive or too difficult. They think of those still trapped behind walls, unaware that the keys to the factory are in their pockets. The transition from idea person to product builder is not just a change in title, it is a fundamental shift in power. The creator is no longer waiting for permission to innovate. They are no longer a consumer of the future. They are its architect. The workshop is loud with the sound of progress. The digital factory is operating at peak efficiency. However, building the foundation is only the start. Every architect knows that a structure needs more than just solid walls. It requires a face to show the world. The creator steps out of the cloud factory. The code is running, the logic is sound, but the screen is cold. It lacks the warmth of a brand, the heartbeat of a story. To the gatekeepers, this was always the final hurdle, the aesthetic barrier. They claimed that while AI could write code, it could never capture the nuance of a brushstroke or the rhythm of a cinematic score without a heavy monthly fee. They sold access to stock libraries and design software like digital landlords, collecting rent on every pixel. But the creator is no longer interested in paying for a vision they already possess. They turn their gaze toward the third wing of the ecosystem, the domain of the visual alchemist. Entering the Google Creative Labs feels less like a workshop and more like a sanctuary of pure light and sound. Here, the raw power of Gemini is refracted through the lens of art. The first tool to catch the creator's eye is ImageFX. In the before era, AI-generated images had a telltale sheen, a waxy AI plastic look that screamed of artificiality. But as the alchemist reveals the power of Imagen 3, the difference is jarring. The creator prompts for a high-fashion editorial shot, expecting the usual digital artifacts. Instead, the screen blossoms with a photograph so sharp, so textured, that they can almost feel the grain of the fabric and the humidity of the light. There is no distortion, no uncanny valley haunting the eyes of the subjects. This is high-fidelity artistry, accessible through a simple dialogue box that rewards precision and poetic thought. The realization hits with the force of a tidal wave. The gatekeeper's monopoly on visual branding has been broken. The creator begins to iterate. In seconds, they generate a full marketing campaign, social media assets, website banners, and conceptual art that would have cost thousands of dollars and weeks of back and forth with a traditional design firm. The AI tax has been completely bypassed, but the alchemist is not finished. The creator moves to VideoFX, powered by the VO model. What was once the most expensive and time-consuming part of any project, cinematic video, is now a matter of imagination. They describe a scene, a drone shot sweeping over a neon-drenched cityscape at dawn. The machine doesn't just animate, it understands the physics of light and motion. A cinematic trailer begins to render, manifesting a professional aesthetic that usually requires a Hollywood studio's budget and a small army of editors and specialized visual effects artists. This is the moment the creator understands the true meaning of the perfect loop. They have the research from the librarian and the structure from the architect. Now with the alchemist, they have the voice. To complete the immersion, they turn to Music FX. They don't need to license a generic track or hire a composer. They simply describe the mood, ethereal, driving, hopeful, and the AI begins to weave a custom score that aligns perfectly with the visual rhythm. The creator watches as their vision transforms from a functional tool into a million-dollar brand, all living inside a single Chrome tab. It is a Hollywood studio residing within a browser, Waiting for the word to begin production, the speed of iteration is intoxicating. Design, fail, redesign, all in the span of a few minutes. The friction of creation has been reduced to zero, yet there is a haunting tension in this newfound power. The creator looks at the stunning visuals and realizes that the traditional stock photo sites and mid-level design agencies are facing an existential crisis. The canyon is widening. Those who continue to pay the AI tax to use inferior, lobotomized tools are not just losing money, they are losing time. They are still trying to paint with brushes while the creator is manipulating the very fabric of digital reality. The alchemist has turned the creator's thoughts into gold, providing a visual identity that is indistinguishable from the work of a master human artist, yet produced at the speed of thought. But as the marketing campaign glows on the screen and the custom soundtrack fills the room, a new thought emerges. High-fidelity visuals and cinematic trailers are powerful, but they are still static representations of a vision. To truly win the war against the gatekeepers, the creator's tools must see and hear the world as a human does. They need the senses. The creator steps away from the shimmering screens of the visual alchemist, realization dawning that even the most beautiful imagery remains a ghost behind glass if it cannot perceive the world around it. To truly shatter the dominion of the gatekeepers, the creation must possess more than a voice and a face. It needs the senses. This is the transition from the visual studio to the neural perimeter, where the tools of MediaPipe and Vertex AI wait to grant the creator's projects the ability to see, hear, and feel the nuances of human existence. MediaPipe is the first revelation, a suite of hidden frameworks that have quietly powered the digital world for years. The creator discovers that the technology behind viral filters and complex hand tracking is not a proprietary secret locked in a vault. It is an open source gift from the ecosystem. As the creator experiments, the machine begins to map the world in real time. A simple webcam becomes an advanced optical sensor, tracking 33 distinct points on a human body with surgical precision. The creator watches as the digital avatar mimics their every movement, not with the lag of yesterday's tech, but with the fluid grace of biology. These are the senses being woven into the code, allowing the project to understand a gesture, a gaze, or a subtle shift in expression. But the sensory experience deepens as the creator enters the model garden within Vertex AI. If AI Studio is the digital brain, Vertex AI is the central nervous system. This is where the enterprise-grade power resides, far beyond the lobotomized chatbots the gatekeepers use to distract the masses. Within the model garden, the creator finds a staggering array of specialized models, some of which haven't even been released to the wider public yet. This is the unfair advantage. While others are waiting for an update to their subscription service, the creator is already deploying models that can detect anomalies in medical scans, translate dozens of languages in real time, or predict complex market fluctuations. The sheer scale of the model garden is awe-inspiring. It is a repository of every specialized intelligence Google has ever cultivated, laid out like a master's toolkit. The creator reflects on a story of redemption. They envision a small business owner using these tools to bridge a gap that once seemed insurmountable. Using MediaPipe's gesture control, they build a system that allows customers with limited mobility to navigate a digital interface through simple head movements or eye tracking. What would have cost a fortune in specialized development is now being built for free using the sensors already present in a basic smartphone. This is the true power of the senses. It isn't just about bells and whistles, it's about making technology inclusive, humanizing the machine so that it serves the person rather than the person serving the tool. The creator realizes they are no longer just building an app. They are building empathy into the architecture of the digital world. The tone shifts to one of profound vision. The creator looks at the model garden and sees the future of labor itself. In the before era, the ability to process vast amounts of sensory data was reserved for government agencies and trillion-dollar corporations. Now, that same power is democratized. The creator can plug their vision into Vertex AI, and suddenly, their creation can listen to the sound of a mechanical engine to detect a failing part before it breaks, or scan thousands of satellite images to find a single patch of reforestation. The senses have turned the digital brain into a global observer, an entity capable of interacting with physical reality in ways once limited to science fiction. The AI tax feels like a distant memory. The gatekeepers rely on the ignorance of the user. hoping they never look under the hood to see the machinery of Vertex AI. But the creator has seen it. They have felt the pulse of the ecosystem's sensory network. They have built the brain, the library, and the body. Now the final revelation awaits, the master tool that connects every disparate thread into a single unstoppable loop. And it is already waiting inside the browser. The creator stared at the browser, the final gateway waiting to be unlocked. It had been right there the whole time, hidden behind a simple keyboard shortcut, the Chrome DevTools. For years, this panel was the playground of elite developers, a place of cryptic logs and complex network requests. But now, it was infused with the soul of Gemini. This was the 9th tool, the master key that bound the entire ecosystem together. With Gemini and Chrome, the internet became malleable. The creator realized they weren't just visiting websites, they were dissecting them and rewriting their essence. The AI diagnosed broken code and optimized sluggish layouts instantly. It was the ultimate bridge between the raw power of the back end and the lived experience of the user. The cycle was finally complete. The creator looked at the tabs lined up like a futuristic control deck. The perfect loop had formed. They could research a concept in the infinite library of NotebookLM, feed those insights into the digital brain of AI Studio, and pass the logic to the architect in Project IDX. From there, the alchemist provided the cinematic skin and the custom score, while the senses of MediaPipe and Vertex AI allowed the creation to breathe and perceive the world. And now, the master key in Chrome ensured everything operated with flawless efficiency. This was no longer a collection of disparate websites. It was a unified, decentralized empire. The AI tax that the hidden gatekeepers had guarded, the monthly subscriptions, and the closed ecosystems had been bypassed forever. During this great reset, the creator felt a profound shift in their own identity. The user who once felt overwhelmed by data and exhausted by paywalls was gone. In their place stood the architect. This was the democratic AI revolution, a moment where the means of production were handed to anyone with the curiosity to seek them out. The tools were free, but their value was immeasurable. The creator understood they were now holding the keys to a kingdom most people didn't even know existed. They weren't just building an app or a brand, they were building the future itself, from the ground up, without asking for permission. But with this empowerment came a chilling realization, a warning that echoed through the digital halls. The creator looked out into the connected world and saw a canyon forming. It was a divide deeper and more permanent than any economic class. It was the gap between those who understood this ecosystem and those who remained trapped behind the paywalls of the gatekeepers. By the time the average person realized these tools existed, the early adopters would have built entire industries. The canyon was widening every second. To stay on the wrong side of that divide was to become obsolete in a world moving at the speed of silicon. The creator knew the stakes. If you didn't learn to navigate this ecosystem now, you would spend the rest of your life paying for the convenience of being a user while others owned the infrastructure of reality. The warning was clear. The window of opportunity was closing. Those who ignored the call would find themselves watching from the sidelines as others built the future they were supposed to own. The AI tax wasn't just a fee, it was a weight that kept the unaware from rising. The creator reached out and clicked the subscribe button on a feed that promised to keep them updated on this rapidly shifting landscape. It wasn't just a social gesture. It was a strategic move to stay ahead of the curve, to ensure they never fell back into the traps of the gatekeepers. The ecosystem was free, but time was the most expensive currency of all. The journey from the shadows of the paywall to the light of the architect had been long, but it was only the beginning. The creator took a deep breath, the blue light of the monitor reflecting in their determined eyes. The tools were ready. The loop was closed. The future was open. The master key was in their hand. The only thing left to do was build. They whispered to themselves, "The ecosystem is free. Your time is not. Start now." The screen flickered, the neon pulse of the neural network steadying into a calm, infinite horizon of possibility.